We just swam from Cuba to Key West, and boy, are our arms tired. No, we did not. But Diana Nyad did. And there's a movie about her doing so where she's played by the great Annette Bening. Nyad, opening in theaters October 20th and coming to Netflix November 3rd?
Something like that.
Yes.
Soon. Keep an eye out. Yes.
I just know I can do it, and I couldn't do it without you. Ah, right, okay. Ow, ow, ow!
You gotta subscribe because we are in awards season, guys. This is it. Movies like Nyad are like tailor-made for awards season. Big, showy performances from veteran stars. So keep an eye out for all of that. Subscribe to us. And also, we're happy to announce that we are now offering memberships here at our Breakfast All Day YouTube channel with some extras and goodies at various tiers, including exclusive videos and live streams and shout outs. And we would love to connect with you that way as well. So there's a link in the description. There's a link at the top of this video, a link on our page. So hit join and join. Annette Bening is Diana Nyad, legendary long distance swimmer who is still around at age 74 and just a larger than life figure and a controversial figure because she has an enormous personality, this enormous sense of self. And you kind of have to have that when you are an elite athlete at this level, right? You can't let nagging doubts get to you like, oh, what if the sharks eat me? You got to persevere, push through the sharks. You're going to eat them. This is about her trying many times and failing and eventually succeeding at swimming from Cuba to Key West, a distance of 110 miles, a treacherous stretch of water. She had tried it many times and she eventually does it at age 64. We know this. Jimmy Chin and Chai Vasarhelyi, who notably directed Free Solo and won an Academy Award for that, but are longtime documentarians, they're married, are clearly drawn to extreme people like this, people who push their minds and their bodies to the limits in pursuit of excellence. Alex Honnold had that. Diana Nyad had that. And so this is their first narrative feature. It feels a lot like a documentary in some ways, like they insert a lot of archival footage. Besides being a longtime swimmer, Diana Nyad has been a commentary on ABC's Wide World of Sports. There is no shortage of footage of her. Her longtime best friend and coach and one-time lover, Bonnie, is played by Jodie Foster. And the two of them have just this awesome crackling chemistry, this like no bullshit with each other. Diana Nyad's totally full of herself. And every time Bonnie's there to like bring some warmth and some perspective and like a dry wit to kind of cut through all of that. It's a very standard movie of sports uplift, right? Of adversity and triumph and feeling good and overcoming all of the doubts and all the odds. But there's a much more interesting movie in here that could have existed because part of what is interesting about Diana Nyad is that it's been documented. The investigative stories about like the chasm sometimes between what she says she did and what she actually did, and claims she has made that are provable that are untrue. And there's a glancing reference to that at one point early on. She's telling this anecdote she's told over and over again and like inflating the details of it with each telling. And Bonnie kind of gives her a hard time, like, oh, I've heard this story before, and that check gets bigger and bigger each time. That's like the tiniest, littlest bit that they do in referencing what is a thorny, messy, interesting element of this complicated person. But I feel like they're much more interested in the story of uplift. Some of the cinematography is, immersive. There's a harrowing nighttime box jellyfish attack, which will put you on the edge of your seat. Some of the cool details of how she did this, like what she had to wear and the slight tweaks she made each time to make it work. I liked Rhys Ifans a lot as the captain of the ship that runs alongside her. But this feels like a missed opportunity to make a more interesting movie.
To be honest, I didn't know about the sort of infamy of Diana Nyad going in. I know of her achievements, or at least her stated achievements. And, I've heard her as a commentator on NPR and other places like that. So I was just kind of going in figuring this was going to be kind of a straightforward sports uplift movie, which it is, but I think it's an interesting one for two reasons. First of all, the fact that she is such a pain in the ass, like she is such a handful to deal with and so demanding. And at the same time, it's like, well, she's demanding a lot of herself. You know, she's going to swim for like 53 straight hours through jellyfish and sharks. So it's like she's allowed to be demanding of other people. It's not like she's coasting through this thing. So I like that aspect of it. The fact that she's just difficult, you know, and usually in these movies, you know, these sports heroes are heroes. And it's like, no, if you're going to be the best of the thing that you do, and you're doing this thing that is going to take this much out of you, and this are going to require a team of people who are as dedicated to this quest as you are, then you have to be a pain in the ass. And so I like the acknowledgement of that. And I like the way that Benning performs that. Like, she is not afraid to like have the audience even be like, girl, calm down, you know, like she is putting it all out there. And so that part I really admired.
There's no vanity to it, right? Like no makeup, messy hair, ratty t-shirts, and like she's a total raging narcissist. Yes,
and like, you know, the salt and everything. I also really liked the way that her friendship with Bonnie is portrayed, because it made me realize that we haven't had enough movies, and certainly not like big mainstream movies like this, that really focus on the particular kind of intimate friendships that queer people have with somebody that maybe you slept with once years ago, or you almost slept together but didn't, or you dated and it didn't work out, or whatever. But very often, like you can form this bond that is closer than a lot of marriages are. And the way these two are there for each other and take care of each other and call each other on their bullshit and all of that stuff, to me, just felt very lived and familiar in terms of people that I know in my life. And I've seen those relationships play out, and I haven't seen them a lot on the big screen. So that part I thought was really interesting. This is Jodie Foster's first lesbian character.
Is it?
It is.
That's really interesting.
So that's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. And like that,
unless you count Candle Shoe, you know.
But like the authenticity like radiates. Like she just sparks on screen. Like it feels so true. It's like, oh, Jodie Foster, she's a star, right?
But yeah, so I really like them. I really liked Rhys Ifans. And so yeah, I didn't know the sort of backstory that the movie is skirting, and so I wasn't thinking about that. So just taking it at face value for the story that was being told, I thought that this was not your usual sports uplift movie, but it is a sports uplift movie. I mean, that DNA is suffused throughout, but like a little bit more interesting. And then you also get there's a whole thing about one of the things that is driving her is that her first coach wound up being, you know, a serial molester of young female swimmers, you know, and they talk about it again. He's in the Swimmer Hall of Fame anyway, even though like a bunch of us came forward and talked about this stuff. And so that's part of this thing to like be the best, to accomplish, to achieve, that she has pushing her. So it you know, the movie is giving you some kind of, you know, thing behind her that she's not just maniacal about accomplishing this feat. So yeah, I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, and that is horrifying, and it is substantial as far as her motivation. But I think like the way the flashbacks are edited, like maybe they go to that a few times too many. Like they establish, this is a motivating factor for her, understandably so, and then they keep going to that.
Yeah, they there's that thing of like building to the reveal, and it's like about the second one, you're like, oh, okay,
we got it.
We know where this is going. You know.
And the needle drops are very on the nose. A favorite topic of ours.
They are, but she used those songs to like set her own pace. And so it's like, yeah, of course this boomer would be picking these songs. These like super obvious like hits of the 60s. So I didn't mind it because they felt germane.
Jermaine, yeah. She needs like the rhythm as a playlist in her head, and it's all like Simon and Garfunkel and Neil Young and anyway, but they felt like
when you run, do you have an internal soundtrack?
I have, we've been talking about Taylor Swift a lot lately, and so I had a Taylor Swift song in my head when I ran the other night. So yeah, I don't listen to any music, but I have it in my head. So yes, it helps for the feet. Yes, but I'm really mixed on this because I don't know.
You know too much.
I know too much. So my number is like a 6.8.
Okay, I'm a 7.8.
Okay.
You know, I think, you know, it operates in the kind of hokey realm that you know it's going to be in. You know, they don't utterly transcend the inspirational sports figure movie you've seen a million times, but they, like I said, they do find ways to make this different. I just thought, like, I couldn't remember the last movie I'd seen about like a great sports figure where you think, wow, how accomplished, and also like, what an a-hole. You know, but in a way that you have to be to accomplish the thing that the movie is about. So, you know, yeah, I dug it on that level.
All right, Nyad, let us know what you think.